I told you every other day. I know you're wondering, where is she? How come she's not here? Well, I'm trying every other day just so that I'm not putting as much time into it every single day. But my numbers dropped out, so I might have to go back to every day. I don't know. I don't know how to keep it going. I just trying different things. And anyways, but I'm glad to be back. And I have an idea for today. I brought out my Zenith. This is made by Epiphone in 1950. So I was just playing around with it. It's kind of a neat little guitar. It's kind of got it's very loud. Anyways, this thing's made in, as I said, in 1950 by Epiphone before Gibson bought Epiphone. Gibson bought Epiphone in 1957. This one, by the serial number, it's 1950, and it's the tag inside says it's made in New York. And this is a Zenith, and they actually started making these in the 30s. I'm not sure if they kept the same size all through the years. I didn't really study out how these things have morphed, but I can tell you that this has a pretty good size bout. This is 16 1/4 across here. But what makes it really neat is it's real thin. It's 3.5 inches. It has a carved top. It's a solid spruce, from what I understand, and it just has that real bright sound, and it just resonates. It's so it's a pretty neat guitar. But that's not exactly what I wanted to talk about today, but just for the fun, I thought I'd pull it out because I haven't played it in a while. I didn't put the pick guard on it. It has a pick guard that it looks like tortoiseshell, but it might be something else. I'm not sure, some kind of a plastic from back then, but I don't know, it's real pretty. But I did not put it on this guitar. And you can see it's in very, very good condition for such an old instrument. See that? It's beautiful. And it's really a neat guitar. And I heard that Gibson bought Epiphone because they were such competition for them. I guess the instruments they made were so great that they just felt like they were competition, so they bought them, and Epiphone made guitars for Gibson all these years and still is. And they make a beautiful instrument. And some will say they like their instruments better. I don't know. I love my little Gibson that I have, this little L1. I play it a lot. In fact, I was looking at the frets the other day, and I could see them starting to wear. I'm thinking, oh no. It's not ready for a fret job yet, but it has a little time on it. So anyways, this I tuned it up, and the tuners are holding really good. I've been playing around with it for a little bit now, and it didn't change any. But I don't think those tuners are I think well, I know for a fact those are replacement. There's no way that's the originals. And they work so well, and they hold everything. In fact, I was using a new tuner today. I picked up a tuner from Fender. And this thing's only $12. Got it off of Amazon. I thought, I'll give it a try. And the reason why I did it is usually I buy like the Snarks or something. I don't know. I like the name, so I always bought Snark. But you know what? They break all the time. I don't know if you have the same experience, but every time I see one, they don't work. So anyways, I thought I'd give a try to the Fender, and yeah, it works really well. I shouldn't say that about the Snarks, because it's not that they all don't work. It's just that the last two that I've seen don't work. Tim brought one over and said, I can't get this thing to work. And I turned it on, it started working, and then it stopped working. And then I bought one on the road, and it's worked. If you sat and played around with the on button, you could get it to come on. So, you know, it's hard to say. But I can say that this Fender, though, is very reliable. I just turned it on, and it's called the FT1. And right now it's set on bass. You have to toggle through this little button to get to the instrument. You want to be on G for guitar. There's a C and a V and a B, depending on what instrument you're on. And once you set it on that, it goes right to it, finds it, holds it. It's really, really good, and it works well. Very responsive for a $12 little tuner. So that's what I have. I bought this thing. So enough of that. I feel like I'm doing a commercial. I have nothing to do with that company. I just bought it because I thought it was a good price and hoped that it was a good tuner, and it is so far. So today what I thought we'd do is I'll use this guitar. But you remember that old song, Country Road? You know, it's a simple one. It's very simple. But I wanted to talk a little bit about learning how to play melody around the chords. Okay, and I think I'm going to show you how I started. Okay, what I did to start doing that, and because you know, I play differently now. I do things, and I find that different ways to bring the melody in, but I'm going to show you the way that someone showed me and the way I started, and it was logical to start this way for me too. I think it's kind of like when I was learning to swim. I remember logically thinking to myself, if I can learn to swim underwater, then I'll get that down first, because if I start sinking when I'm on top of water, I can just convert to swimming underwater, because I already know how to do that, because I could sink pretty good. So I learned how to swim underwater first, and then I learned to swim on top of the water. So it's kind of that same thinking. Learn to do a certain way that seems to be simple, and it'll lead you into other ways of doing it, okay? I hope that made sense. You might be thinking, what in the world is that lady talking about? I'm talking about logically approaching something, trying to do it in such a way to make it easy. So I thought we'd take Country Road because that's a real simple song. It's just basically, I'm going to start strumming it here, and I'll read you out the chords. Country G, G, D, and then it goes to E minor, and then on to C, G, and then D, and then C, and then G. Okay, so this is in the key of G, and well, so we know that we can play the G chord here. And as you get more into other things, you know, you can play G chord here, and you can play G chord up further. So there's different ways to play the G chord, and you can bring out the melody. But we're just going to stick up here in the first position with our G chord and our G string. And then we know we have G here and G here, right? 3rd fret. So that's a good starting place to know that, okay? And we're just going to start out with what we'll do is we'll play the chord, and then in between playing the chord, we'll play a little bit of the melody. And then we'll play the melody up to the point where the chord has to change. Then play the chord, and then play the melody again up to the point where the chord has to change. And what I mean by that is, there's G. The chord has to change that's what we're going to do, is you're just playing the music in between the chords, okay? Now, I just showed it to you doing a strum. And you can do this strum by just doing your thumb down for the low E and then move to the 4th string. So 6th string, 4th string, 6th string, 4th string. And then what I'm doing is taking these 3 fingers and I'm strumming down. And that sound you hear is the button hitting my guitar. Let me move that up here. Okay. So that's how we're going to do it. Now that's one way to do it. Now for those of you that are more comfortable with picking, play in between those chording. So it's whatever you're comfortable with, okay? All right. So we have that down. We know the chords. Country road, G, D, and then E minor, and then go to C, G, D, C, G, okay? Now, let's work on the melody part, okay? Because we're going to do it in between. Now, we know it starts out with G, and we know that's a G string. So basically, I'm going to take my middle finger on the 3rd string, play the 2nd fret, start with open G. Okay, so you're going to play the A next, and then you're going to play the open B string, or the 2nd string. So you do that, and then play, that's where it's going to change to the next chord. Well, actually it's the opening chord, G. Then it goes to D, okay? So that's how we're going to open. And then play the G. Then you're going to play the open B string, then the A again, or the 2nd fret. And then go to the D. And then go to E minor. Whoops. Think about it, I mess up. So, oh my goodness. All right, so that's how I want you to approach this. I want you to spend time learning to play the melody first. It's a real simple melody, and basically it's all on strings 3, 2, and 1 that I just did, okay? So it's quite simple, but spend time doing that first, then spend time knowing the chords, okay? And then bring it together. Start it out with the opening notes. There's your opening notes. them sing. I'm talking and doing at the same time. Okay. So what I want you to do is then put it together and just practice. Do start out the melody, play the chord, start out the melody, play the chord, and wherever you see that melody is going to change chording, play the chord and then play the melody in between. It's the perfect song to practice doing this, I think. So play around with that and see, but start out by learn the melody, learn the chords, and then bring them together and see how that works for you. Okay, and when you're picking, teach these 3 fingers to stay here on strings 3, 2, 1. Okay, and teach that thumb to stay up here with strings 6, 5, and 4. Now another thing you could do is something someone showed me one time, was they said that try to play that melody that you just learned without using your right hand. Well, how do you do that? I mean, you've got to be able to, you got to pluck the open strings especially. So I thought about that for a bit, and it can be done because you can do pull-offs, or you can pluck the string up here with the open string with this finger to get it going, you know. But it teaches your fingers to pull sound out, because when you're playing, it's kind of, it's nice to be able to do pull-offs. But to do it without this hand at all, I think you could do it this way. Just do a hammer on. Almost messed it up. I don't know, but play around with that and see if you can play without using your right hand, and use that as an exercise to get that melody out as well, and then go back to playing again. Right there, and I've either confused you or maybe you got something out of it. I don't know. We'll see. But I've been trying to do this every other day. I don't know if it's going to work because my numbers kind of dropped out, so I might just keep putting these out after this for a few days and do some shorts and try to bring my numbers back. I'm trying to take a break. I'm trying. It's very time consuming. Not so much making the videos, because they're like 12 minutes, although sometimes I have to repeat them a few times. It's the editing and doing that part that sometimes can take a little time. So anyways, but I enjoy it. And when I stop enjoying it, I'll stop doing it, I suppose. And you'll just have what's left over. So far, I've got like 400 something videos out there for you to look at. So, and it's been fun doing them. Anyways, so don't forget, next week, Tuesday, is going to be our live at 9:30 in the morning. And that's the 25th. It's California time. So hopefully we can see some of you on there. We're going to have a giveaway, so it should be fun. And it's not a super expensive giveaway, but nevertheless, it's a giveaway. And it was something that everybody kept asking me about. So, you know, when they saw that I had this particular thing, they'd say, oh, tell me about where do you get that? So I got one so that I could give it away. And I'm not quite sure what we're going to do yet on that. I thought a number of different topics. One topic I thought about doing was talk a little bit about different tone woods and how it's, you know, in terms of my preferences and what I hear in tone woods. I thought about doing that and maybe showing some samples of it and talking about it with everyone. I sure wish I could hear you come back and talk to me. And that's what the membership is doing. On the membership, we're going to be Monday doing another Zoom call. So we can see each other and we can have a conversation where I can hear other perspectives. And it's something I've enjoyed very much. And if you want to join us, you have to do a membership. It's not super expensive, but you know, you could do the cheap one and get in on it. I think it's $3.99. I think that's what it is. And so you could do that. And by the way, I figured out, everyone that kept saying they didn't know how to join the membership. Well, YouTube just recently did this. They gave one of my studios where you do work, they gave me the actual link to the join button. So I'm putting that now in my description. So go to the description, drop down past the more, and all the way down at the bottom on the other side of my my email, you'll see the link. Click on it, and it takes you right to the join button. Okay, I hope that helps some of you. I'd sure like to see you there on that call. It'd be a lot of fun. And if you didn't like it, you just turn it off. It's okay. Do it for 1 month, and then just turn it off. It does help the channel. But it's more just finding ways to connect. I think it's so far working, so we'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to leave it right there, and I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in this world.